Good evening, friends, and a warm welcome to the International Fabtalks. We are happy to connect with you. As you know, we have several unsung heroes who have a lot of expertise and wisdom that they have gained through a lot of experience through all the years of hard work and dedication to create a beautiful space in this world. Join us, friends, to welcome our celebrity and guest who's here with us, a very special person connected with the earth, connected with environment, connected with ecology, connected with education, and much, much more. He's none other than Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail. I repeat that again for everyone. He is Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail, a very humble and a genuine person, a down-to-earth person. Although he has faced a lot of ups and downs, sir is very polite and humble and down-to-earth. You can approach him at any given time because he's concerned about not only humanity, he's concerned about the environment as well, to save every creature on earth. And that's where lies his purpose in this world. We all have to find our purpose. So he has found his purpose and he has found his calling for the right reasons. And today he'd love to share his journey with us to make you understand your purpose in life. Usually we are all lost as to what we have to do. So when you meet people like these, great personalities, and sir has spent almost 50 years as a teacher, teaching people, not only teaching, learning at the same time as well. There's much more. Let's first welcome sir and then go ahead with sir's profile and the session. Hello, sir, and welcome to the session.
Good evening, and wonderful to be here on the platform of Fabtalks and interact with you, Andrea.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for accepting the invitation. You're a very humble person. Thank you so much. In spite of you, reaching great heights, you've taken out the time to share and celebrate your journey with us on the International Fabtalks. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. So with your permission, I go ahead and share your profile and then we begin the session, sir.
Yep.
Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail, if I could put all of that right. So when you meet people like, I've read your profile, it is 16 pages, sir. And I haven't seen anybody with having so much of credit or such a lot of beautiful aspects connected to their life. So then again, can one person achieve all of this? How can one person be so brave enough, so courageous enough to go forward and achieve all of this? It really keeps me wondering. You appear to be somebody magical when you do such things, because hardly we have a handful of people who have come up to that level, contributing so much positively to the society. So friends, I'd like now to introduce our special celebrity and guest with his profile here with me. He's Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail. I repeat that again, Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail, a nice person. He was not only a good student, but also wanting to create positivity around him in the right ways. Now, how? Let us see. He was an ardent student in the field of ecology and environmental science. Currently, he is serving as an advisor and former director of the Ecoscience Research Foundation in Chennai. He has dedicated his career to research and applied work on various topics, including ecology, environment, earthworms, and organic inputs. Since 1978-79, he began his journey, and till date, he's very, very active with all of these projects. Presently, he is the member connected to the State Planning Commission. I repeat that again. He is presently a member of the State Planning Commission, Government of Tamil Nadu, specifically involved in preparing organic policy, the land use policy, the water policy, and to add to that, the waste management policy for the state, and member panel to frame the state education policy. As I earlier mentioned, there are lots of E's connected to sir. Even the education sector, sir has shared his energies and expertise in that as well, which is connected with the government of Tamil Nadu, India. He is recently appointed as the chairman, committee to evaluate the need and the efficacy of biostimulants and biofertilizers distributed by the Agriculture Department, Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. Ismail began his teaching career on November 25th, 1974. Many of you would not have been born at that period of time. So that's really nice to have somebody with such a rich experience and, a vast amount of wisdom he might have acquired during these years. So he's here to share that with us. And later, sir held various other positions as the head of the Department of Zoology and the Department of Biotechnology at the New College in Chennai. Over the years, sir has been very actively involved not only with great institutions or government institutions, also with the simple farmers working on the fields, self-help groups advocating the concept connected with ecology, sustainability, organic practices, waste management, and water waste treatment. That's really nice. Now, sir is also connected with saving water because that is the need of the hour, because water is very precious. Yes, friends, I'm sure you know all of that. For mankind and this environment, he has received several prestigious awards and recognitions, a very few of them to name here. The selected ones. Some notable honors he received include the Cast Me Award in the UK for 1994-95, the Arignar Anna Award from the Department of Environment of the Government of Tamil Nadu in 2005, the Award of Excellence from the Governor of Jharkhand in December 2010, and the Special Contribution Award for Outstanding Contribution to the Earthworm Industry. So much. Friends, I just repeat this once again to make it very clear. I just put it in the right way. Sir has also received the Outstanding award, or you could call that as the Special Contribution Award. I put it right again. Special Contribution Award for Outstanding Contribution to Earthworm Industry at the first World Earthworm Industry Forum in China in June 2018. In subsequent years, Dr. Ismail continued to receive accolades, and he has been also included and has been rewarded, the Champion of Chennai Award in 2019, the Beacon of Hope Award in February 2020, and the Inspiring Humanitarian Award by the World Humanitarian Drive in UK in May 2021. And that's why you must be thinking, like, I'm sitting in front of a person who has achieved great heights. So that's really nice. And imagine the humbleness of this person, the down-to-earth nature, the ability to connect, the ability to be warm towards somebody who is below. That makes you extra special. Now, here is a person like that. That's Dr. Ismail. He's here with us. Additionally, he was also honored with the Green Man Award in June 2021 by the Rotary Club during the Peace Builders Award ceremony. Recognized as one of the top 10 people of Tamil Nadu for 2013 by Ananta Vikatan, a leading Tamil magazine, Dr. Ismail has extensive experience addressing environmental issues. He has traveled widely in India and abroad as well, sharing his rich expertise, and has addressed more than 50,000 people across the world. He served the NCERT during 1987-90 and notably served as a member of the Tamil Nadu Curriculum Framework Committee for Syllabus Revision and Implementation, that is in the year 2017 and 18. He serves now as the chairman of the Scientific Review Committee for the Initiative for Research and Innovation in STEM IRIS program of the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. He has also served as a member of the high-level committee to frame the state education policy, Government of Tamil Nadu, and chairman for the reconstituted high-level expert technical committee. If I could get that right, Hydrocarbon Project, Tamil Nadu government. Apart from his contributions to academia, Dr. Ismail is the Vice President of the Preparatory Committee of the World Earthworm Industry Federation and the Chairman of the Technical Steering Committee in China. His influential books, such as the Earthworm book, translated into Tamil, Chinese, and Persian, and Man Makkal Mahasur. Now, this is really nice. In Tamil, it has gained a lot of popularity among the academicians and those interested in earthworms and the soil. Another beautiful book to his credit, his new book, Worming My Way. If you go deeper to understand it, you will understand the ups and downs that Sir has faced during his professional journey. Worming My Way, transcends conventional storytelling, offering a rich experience and making us understand the real value of us being on this universe, connecting with our profession, our personal life, our challenges, our resilience, power. All of that could be found in that beautiful book, Worming My Way. We'll get to know more about it. Additionally, Sir has coordinated very well, to bring about simple tasks, make it very easy and simple for everyone. He coordinated his effort in simple tasks, great concepts. Do it in a very simple way, but again, achieve great results. That's what's the focus. And he has been helping several teachers, science teachers, and students to conduct more than 100 experiments or life science experiments, you could say, without a laboratory. Usually we have managements or school teachers and faculty members complaining and students' parents complaining that we don't have a laboratory. But here is something very unique and beautiful. You could conduct various experiments, and more than 100 life science experiments have been performed with the help of Dr. Ismail. That's really wonderful for students and faculty members. That's great. Dr. Ismail has an extensive publication record with over 80 research and review papers in national and international journals. And Sir has also guided 32 MPhil students to complete their MPhil and 20 PhD students, and his journey still continues on, contributing more to the education sector, to the environment. If you'd like to get extensive information about Sir, you could just do one simple task. Just type his name, Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail, on Google, and you will get a lot of information about his work. I've only shared the tip of the iceberg. There's much more to this great personality. And meeting them, for me, is a dream come true, because I never in my dream ever experienced that I would be meeting somebody like that. Thanks to you, sir, for being very kind and humble to all of us, to each one of us, right from the earthworm to a person like me. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, sir, you value every creature on this earth. That's really nice. That shows that you've been brought up in the right way. You have the right values. And you've continued your journey very well. And you are a proud son of India, and to your parents as well. Now, sir, I've shared a bit about you in that introduction part. Now, many of your people, your students, your colleagues, strangers, people from different countries or unknown people would love to know it directly from you. How would you define yourself? Who is the real Dr. Sultan Ahmed Ismail?
Well, I would always love to be called as a teacher, not as a researcher or a professor or a doctor, for a simple reason, even if I was a director of an institute, and if you refer me as a director, and supposing you were working with me in that office, and after I superannuate, and you happen to meet me somewhere on the way, along with your friends or your family, you would introduce me as your former director. So everybody introduces their director or principal or anybody as former principal, former director, former professor. But for a teacher alone, we always introduce as, he is my teacher. There is no was for a teacher. So I enjoyed teaching, and I'm one of those lucky teachers where even students from my first batch of teaching are still in contact with me. And in fact, some of my students in the first batch were elder to me, because I joined immediately after my post-graduation. And I was my professor in the same institution where I studied. And my professor was very confident that I could handle those classes. And he sent me to the final year masters for practicals. And one of the students was my own classmate, because he had a gap of 1 year in between. And there were 2 students who were elder to me. And it was fun, and they still meet me, still write to me, and we're still in touch. So I would love to be introduced as somebody as a teacher. And if I have to have a second introduction, it would be only through my favorite friend, that's the earthworm. Because earthworm and I have signed a beautiful bond with each other, a philosophical bond. As long as I live, I will go through the worm. And when I am gone, the worm will go through me. It's as simple as that. So that's sort of a philosophical bond we have signed with each other. And these are the 2 identifications which I have, and I would love to be referred in the same way. Yeah, nothing more.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's really nice. You define yourself in just a simple word, teacher. And you say, yeah, you connected even with your students still now. And in fact, you had 2 students who were senior, to you.
Elder to me.
Elder to you with regard to age, and they were quite elder to you. That's really nice that you were able to even handle them as well, and they are still in connect with you. That's wonderful, sir. And your lovely friend, that is the earthworm, you're connected with that beautiful creature that has been created on this universe. Now, sir, at what age did you have this passion to connect with Mother Nature and connect with that little insect. There are several insects. Why did you choose the earthworm? And when did this happen? When did this magic happen in your life?
It's a long story to cut short. I'm not a movie actor to say that as I was born, I had that ambition to become an actor. But the thing is, I still remember that as a young child, one day I was, my grandfather, I was born and brought up in Pondicherry. And my grandfather was a businessman, a very tall man. He was around 6'2", 6'3". And he would sit outside and we were playing and I was walking around, thumping my foot, tap, 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 tap on the soil. And suddenly he cautioned me. He said, "Hey, you're not supposed to do like that." I said, "Why?" He said, "No, respect the soil. You're not supposed to stomp on the soil. You're supposed to respect the soil." I didn't know the meaning at that time. But that was a wonderful probably the seed was sowed in my brain that I should be a soil biologist. At that point of time, I had nothing in my mind. I just listened to him. And in those days, we would always, with gratitude and, we would always follow whatever elders say. And we stopped doing it. And gradually then, as the days passed, I was in class 4, then I went to class 5, when my father suddenly passed away. He was a leading barrister in Pondicherry. I'm very proud of my father because my dad, he had done his Bharat Law from Cairo University in those days. He went all the way to Egypt and he was a master's in French law. And he was based in Pondicherry. And when he passed away, then there was a complete vacuum in the family. And we had to struggle a lot in life. Gradually, in the school, the teachers started, my 5th standard teacher in mathematics, 6th standard teacher in mathematics, I could never understand mathematics or chemistry properly. So maths would not enter my head and he would say that there is clay in my head. So my grandpa sowed the seeds of soil and my maths teacher put clay in my head and I became a typical soil biologist, right? So what happens is gradually at that point of time, in fact, my name, I used to write it as Sultan Ahmed Ismail. Ismail is my father's name. So instead of, I used to write it as I Sultan Ahmed. Because normally that's how we write in the names. Like you put your dad's name as an initial, write your name, I Sultan Ahmed. And students would make fun of me, like in that school. What is this I Sultan Ahmed? And we know that you are Sultan Ahmed. So then I shifted I to the last. I used to put Sultan Ahmed I. Again, they were making fun of it. So I started writing my full name, Sultan Ahmed Ismail. And the same maths teacher, he got annoyed calling me with the full name. He said, "No, I'm not going to call you by this full name." And he abbreviated my name as my initials, as S.A., and called me as Ismail. By the time father was no more, my dad. So I inherited his name. Ismail is actually my dad's name. But the world knows me only by that name because he abbreviated. And my initials became my own name and my dad's name became my name. And that was the beginning. And slowly I went through school. I was not a very brilliant student as you introduced me. I was a backbencher. I was a last bencher. And I'm proud to have been a last bencher because I always tell students, those who sit in the last bench have a holistic view of the whole class. Whereas those who sit in the first row always are under the shower of the teacher. I hope you got my point. Shower, right? So, it was all fun. And I was very poor in mathematics. In fact, my 10th standard teacher said that you would never pass school. You will never go beyond school. You will never clear school. And I used to tell within my heart, "Sir, you don't know how to teach me mathematics. What can I do for it?" Then gradually one teacher came into my life when I entered class 11. In those days, 11th was the final for schools. For pre-university, we used to go to inter. Some of the states still follow as an inter colleges are there. So, this particular teacher, he identified some of the dull heads like me and started giving us inputs. And he molded us, he gave us the fundamentals of mathematics. And he was so good understanding. That's where I really, a teacher is a teacher who can always change any type of student. There are no bad students at all, to my knowledge. Teachers can be good or bad, but not students. So, he completely converted me, and you wouldn't believe in my final examinations, which in those days were conducted by Madras University for the school, I secured 200 out of 200 in mathematics, thanks to my teacher. Science was my passion. I scored only 48 marks in science, only 48. And overall became first class because of mathematics. So when I went to college to study science, and I told the principal of the college that I would like to join new college, and Professor Moideen was the principal, a wonderful young gentleman. He had got educated in Canada, and he was there, and I said, I need science. He said, no, you have to take maths. I said, sir, no, I need science. He said, no, you have to take maths because you have 100% in maths. I said, sir, maths was with great difficulty, fear, and anxiety. I got that mark, but I have no love for that subject. Please understand my plea. He said, why did you get 48%? I said, sir, I was so much interested that what I wrote, probably examiner did not know how to value my paper. He started laughing. And then he said, okay, go ahead, join science. And that's how I joined science. And I completed my pre-university like any other young student. What I want to tell is here, some of the teachers or some of the principals or parents who are listening to my program or our program today, don't try to tell the child to study in which they have got the maximum marks. It is not necessary at all that the child is interested in that subject. Sometimes by valuation, sometimes by luck you may get. Sometimes the subject which you love the most, you may get less marks also. It doesn't matter. So try to find out what a child really loves and try to promote the child in that direction. The child grows. So I've completed my pre-university like any other child who completes science. You are supposed to go to medical interview. I had one of the worst experiences in the medical interview because I still remember that year when I went for a medical interview. They asked me only one question in the interview. And I went prepared with all the physiology and all those things, heart circulation, excretion, whatever I could manage to learn. But the question that was asked to me was, what is the difference between a statue and a statute? No, I don't know what to do, what it had to do with medical science. Having studied my foundation from one of the most beautiful schools in Pondicherry, St. Joseph of Cluny, which now it's only a pure girls' school, but still I go every year over there to take classes for my juniors. I love to go to my school because they love me a lot. I still go to my school and talk to my children, my juniors, sub juniors, and motivate them towards education. So, I told them the difference, what is a statue and what is a statute. And they said, okay, thank you, you can go. And that was go. They did not select me. Nowadays, people feel bad if they don't get selected for some courses. But I felt very happy probably because there was something better for me in store. Now, again, I would like to tell some of the youngsters over here, whenever you want to study and go for higher education, there'll be umpteen number of relatives who will give you all the inputs and suggestions that you study this, you study that, and that you will get a job, this and that. And at that time, when I completed my pre-university, chemistry was very popular. So they asked me, go and study chemistry. I said, I can't study chemistry. I still remember my teacher in pre-university who used to teach me chemistry, he would start, last class we saw. And when the bell rang, he would say, next class we will continue. I understood these two. What he told in between never entered my head. Right? So with great difficulty, I studied chemistry to pass chemistry. So I said, no, nothing doing. I would take zoology because I had one professor. Due respects to him, Professor Nanda Kumar, one of the most beautiful, smart professor teachers. I took zoology because of him. He recently breathed his last. But wonderful professor, I always remember him because I took zoology because of him. I did my BSc in zoology. And I wanted to take a job after that and go in for some job. But my principal said, because I had lost my father, wanted somebody. And incidentally, my principal happened to meet me and said, you were one of our bright students. You were secretary of the society in the BSc. So why don't you take up MSc? I joined MSc with some conditions, of course. Conditions in the sense I told him that I wouldn't be able to pay the fee in one full lump sum. And he agreed to it. And I was able to do my MSc. I completed my MSc. And incidentally, because something bad happened when I completed my BSc, my elder brother, had completed his engineering at the same time, who happened to meet with an accident and he died. So that was another blow for the family. And So the family was waiting that there should be some happy occasion in the family. So immediately after my master's, I was asked to get married. And I was one of the fellows who got married just because of pressure from the elders at that point of time, because my exam was on the 9th of May, 1974, the final exam, and my marriage was on 10th May, 1974. So I could not have even one day free of life of a bachelor after my education. Everything happens for good, and it so happened that I used to go looking for jobs because I had to earn money at that point of time. Luckily, one day I went to the college and I just wanted to see my juniors, talk to them, and also my teachers. I put my cycle in the corridor and I was about to walk in when the same principal, who was my teacher also, he said, Ismail, what brought you here? I said, sir, I just wanted to meet teachers and talk to them and go, sir, nothing else. He said, are you employed? I said, no, sir, not yet, and I'm looking for it very seriously. He said, after meeting them, please meet me before you leave. I said, okay, sir, thank you. So I met my teachers, I met my juniors, I went to his room, I met my principal. He said, Ismail, one of your teachers is going on a sabbatical for 6 months. In those days, we had a post called as a demonstrator. So he said, the demonstrator is being promoted as a lecturer. There's going to be a vacancy in demonstrator for 6 months. Would you like to join us for 6 months? I said, with pleasure, sir. He said, give me in writing. So I gave a letter in writing. And he said, you will meet the secretary. It's a private college, which was aided by the government. So he said, you will meet the secretary the next day and collect the orders. I went to the secretary. I still remember that he was a very tough gentleman because I know him because he was also, when I was a student there. So he just gave the letter and said, 6 months after that, you should never come to my doorstep. But something from above was smiling at his statement, probably. Because exactly after 6 months, I still remember that day, 31st March 1975, we have a staff club drama. And that used to be a Tamil drama. It was a staff club get together. Suddenly, we had a poet. Because you are from Hyderabad, you will know this Mushaira and things, Urdu poetry, which is being recited. We had a Urdu poet, Shah, in our college. He was also a physics lecturer. So he was organizing an Urdu drama, and he wanted that I should enact the role of a jailer. So I also played the role of a jailer, right? So in that, I allow Anarkali and Salim to elope from the jail. So Akbar gets angry with me and he shouts at me that you will be terminated from service today. That was joy for everybody, and everybody laughed because that was reality, because I was receiving my termination order that day. Incidentally, I received the termination order and I was walking back after the drama and the dinner. I was walking towards picking up my cycle. And the same principal said, Ismail, there's some good news for you. He said the teacher who was promoted as lecturer, who has to go back as demonstrator, he has resigned. He wants to go back to his native place and he doesn't want to work here. So you can be promoted as a lecturer now. 1975, I became a lecturer. And there was no looking back after that. I was going on working. 78, 79, MPhil was introduced. 77, 78, MPhil was introduced. Second batch was 78, 79. When faculty improvement program applications came to the college, I just casually asked my principal, can I apply? He said, no, you are the most junior most in the college. So you just keep quiet because it's a huge college. We have from pre-university till PhD. So I said, okay, sir. But he said, if nobody applies, I will call you. Everybody was fighting for PhD. I was the only one who had applied for MPhil. So he forwarded my application. Luckily, I got selected. So I went and did my MPhil in marine biology. I did my master's in fisheries. I did my marine biology for my MPhil. And I came back to my college, 1979. 1979, I came back and one of my another student, Mr. Kalimur Rahman, who later became professor of marine sciences, fishery sciences in the government institute. Now, this boy suddenly walked into my room, who had just completed his master's, and he said, sir, I did not get a seat in MPhil. Can I do some research with you? I said, I must ask permission from my professor. So I went to Professor Moeddin's room. I told him, sir, this boy who was your student and whom I was helping, he wants to do some research. Can I do some research? And my principal was very happy. He said, that was my dream, Ismail, that there should be research in my department. You start research. I came back to my room, but as I was coming down, there was a paper lying on the floor. I just took the paper. It was a circular inviting papers for a behavior conference to be held in Jan 1980. So I came to this boy. I said, look here, he has permitted. But there is a seminar coming in Jan 1980. Would you like to do some work on animal behavior? He said, with pleasure, sir. Anything, sir, I would be happy to do. Now, for doing research on animal behavior, I need live animals. Just then, my lab assistant was crossing in front of my room. And, I just called him. I said, Anna, Anna, because I studied the same thing. We used to call our lab assistants Anna. So I called Anna, brother, is there any live animal available in our lab? And he said, sir, we have earthworms. That is where the research on earthworm starts. Now, had I on that day told him that I did my fisheries, can you get some live fishes for me? I would have grown up in life. Now, what I'm trying to tell the youngsters who are watching this program is, if something comes across in your life, there's a purpose behind it. Don't just by oversight throw it away, neglect it, and say that I am focused on one. Maybe you may not grow as much as you can grow. That means you are sheltering yourself from challenges. You always face challenges in life, and then you try to come up in life. So that's how it started. And then we started culturing, we started farming, because I always remember my aunt, my father's elder sister who brought me up. She, one day she was making dosas at home, and she would serve my brother and me when we were small kids. And dad was no more. So I asked her, Auntie, can you teach me how to make dosa? And she said, you are fatherless children. Don't keep asking for things. If you're going to keep asking for things, you may never grow. Look with your eyes and work with your hands. That was such a strong foundation for me that everything in life I did was watching people, watching things, and doing it to myself. Right from, you wouldn't believe, I also developed a software for NCRT. I'm not a computer person. Right from earthworm research to driving, everything was done independently. So my humble suggestion to all those people watching over here is, come out of your comfort zone, you will grow well. Don't just sit over there in a comfort zone and say, I'm okay. Take challenges in life, and that makes you grow as to what. That's the beginning of my earthworm research.
Excellent, sir. Thank you for taking us down memory lane and remembering all those beautiful incidents, starting off with your grandfather, guiding you on how to take care of the soil, to respect the soil, your dad being the main inspiration behind who you are today, and the various, encounters you had with students bullying you with regard to your name.
Yeah.
How to overcame that challenge. Thank you for sharing that. That was very, very interesting. And I'll be discussing that in depth with you, sir, as to how bullying could impact a child's life. And towards the end, you focused on not being in your comfort zone, break the comfort zone and face your challenges.
Yes.
That's really nice. And how you entered into your space of, coming face to face with this project of the earthworms. As you said, you were from the marine background, marine engineering background, or from that background, or fisheries, marine fishing, etc. And all. If you would have given importance to that, you would have missed out on the earthworms.
You wouldn't have invited me today to discuss about it.
Oh, sweet. That's really nice. You've been so nice throughout your journey as a youngster. Also, you've even noticed, you've been a great observer as far as I can say that. And you even applaud your aunt who has given you a suggestion, to be observant and to work with your hands, be diligent. That's really nice. Now, sir, as you've spoken about something which is very sensitive, which, at that very moment, I wanted to pause and ask you a question. Now, till date, there are several children who are fallen in this trap of being bullied by their classmates or schoolmates and even teachers. Now, I would like you to share your thoughts, how we could overcome this challenge, because that is the need of the hour, because several children are extremely sensitive and they cannot take it at face value, or they cannot bear the rudeness in the tone of either their classmates or their teachers.
I was also a bit obese at that time, so I was bullied even for that. As a bulky fellow, a bully fellow, and where do you buy the rice for your food and things like that. But what I feel is that it's the upbringing of children right from the family, which teaches you to respect another person as an individual. If there's proper upbringing, proper source of support from the family itself, then no child would bully any other child in life. Sometimes due to mischief making, sometimes due to wrong fear, because I always believe in Khalil Gibran's wonderful work, where he says that your children are not your children. They are born through you. They don't belong to you. So, it's something like parents are like a bow. Parents are like a bow, and child is the arrow. For example, if I want to show you some similarity, there's a wonderful archer who always takes that bow and arrow and aims at a board and shoots, and every time it's the bullseye. He hits the bullseye, no problem at all. He hits the bullseye. But one day he takes an aim in an open space and he aims at it. And he just leaves the bow, and the arrow is going towards the bullseye when a strong wind diverts it from the bullseye. Now, this is becoming common in our society. Parents are good. Parents are aiming their children to aim something wonderful in life. But somewhere in between is either the screen time, or it is some sort of friendship which comes from other sources, or some sort of an addiction which comes in their lives. They get deviated from their aims. So such children, they like to bully others because they take fun out of it. You see, unless you make children realize that hurting somebody is not fun. And I know that this is very common in many institutions today. Bullying is very common. And especially if parents can build a strong will in the minds of the children that let anybody bully, you are what you are. I always give this example when I give public talks. I give talks to parents as well in many annual days and things like that. I have the habit of taking a flower because normally they would give me a flower bouquet for welcoming me. I take the flower, and supposing you presume that I'm holding a flower in my hand, and I ask you, yeah, what is this? You would say it's a flower. It's a flower.
Yes. Yes.
I call it as a mango. Will it become a mango? Will it become a mango? No. Well, if both of us call it as a mango, will it become a mango? If the whole world calls it as a mango, will it become a mango? So your child is a flower of your garden. Why do you get upset when somebody calls it a mango? Trust your child. First thing is trust your own child, build your child, and in education, my only humble request as a teacher of 50 years is see to it that your child is happy. It is not your marks which make you what you are. It is the happiness of the child which makes the child what the child becomes. So that's very important today, and that message. And I should thank Murli for having suggested that I join you on this. In fact, it's a wonderful thing which every parent should think is see that your child is happy. And happiness alone can take this child up. If a child is happy, if anybody bullies, yes, you are fat. Yes, man, I'm fat. So what? You are dull. Yes, man, I'm dull. So what? My parents have accepted. Who are you to tell me? I don't care about it. Only if there is a bullying even at home, you fat fellow, you're not doing anything. Then the child starts developing a negative trait, and this bullying causes a sort of a bad impact in the mind of the child. And I always tell young parents, supposing a child is playing and breaks a glass, and you shout at the child is crying, beeping, everything. The glass can be purchased for 20 rupees, but the broken heart cannot be. Right? So just try to teach the child. This fell down because you were clumsy in holding it, or it was very slippery. So next time, be careful. Everybody does some mistake or other. Accept your child, bring your child within your fold. Then your child blossoms. And that strong child is able to face anything in life. That is lacking because we are giving more importance to screen time. In fact, like the pacifier, I hope you know that we used to call it as a nipple or a pacifier. And this pacifier in those days was this small plastic thing with a rubber thing which the child would use. Today in every household, the pacifier is nothing but a mobile phone. The moment the child cries, you put some sort of a screen and give it into the child is carried away. And as the child grows, then you start telling the child, you're not supposed to look at the phone. Now, you are the one who gave the foundation. Now, why do you say not to hold it? Yeah? And the way the situations are changing, I'm not blaming, I'm blaming the system. The system is more now going into blended learning. Blended learning is where there will be classroom classes, but most of the classes would also be held online. So whether you like it or not, you may have to allow the child to be handling some of these gadgets. And these gadgets are so prone to so many other things other than the subject that children can easily be deviated. You put any good terminology and search, there is something which is undesirable which comes up along with the terminology. So, it's such a system. So be open-minded, look at the child, build confidence in the child, allow the child to also respect you, and make it as a holistic growth for the child.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Thank you very much for explaining that. Much appreciated. For parents and for students, if anybody bullies you, you just ask, so what? And accept the fact that they are no better than you, and you can carry on your journey because you
Carry
know
on
who
your
you
journey.
are and you've showed.
One thing you also cautioned me, and there was about teachers bullying. That is very wrong. A teacher is never supposed to bully. I still see, I have so many teachers who appreciated me. Like when like I was in class 8, one Mr. Charles joined the college school. And he was a short young man with a big mush and things, and he would come. He was teaching some subject, and one fine day he suddenly said, "Ismail, you have a good voice." Uh, and similarly, my classmate Vaidyanathan, you also have a good voice. Why don't we have an oratory? Do you know oratory? Do you know debate? Shall we have debating done in the school? I said, fine, wonderful. Because at the most, what are we going to do? He said, but for that, you may have to stay twice a week, evenings after 4 p.m. So almost another 4 students volunteered. So we were 6 total. I was leader of one team. Vaidyanathan was leader of another team. Now it was divided into 3-3. And he would come and he would teach us public speaking. Unfortunately, every time, or fortunately, every time, he would tell a topic, Vaidyanathan will say, I'm going to speak for the topic. So invariably, I used to speak against the topic. And speaking against the topic actually has to be more imperative and more compulsive, And that gave me more intense things. And he would say that when you are speaking, within those 3 minutes, on one particular occasion, you can bang the table for a very important point. So I used to bang the table at one point. Chalta gaya, we started continuing. And I started participating in oratory debates. When I came to college and when I was in masters, first year masters, I won the first prize and things. Well, second year I had to participate in the Darwin Rolling Shield. And I was rehearsing in the auditorium, the final rehearsal before the finals of Darwin. Exactly when I was banging the table, Professor Dharmarajan, who was my genetics professor, he had returned from UK and he was a UGC fellow and a wonderful teacher. He would come with a pipe in those days in a standard Herald car. This man, he just entered at that time. So he waited till I completed and he said, Ishmael, why did you bang the table? I said, sir, that's what my teacher said. When there's an important point, I must bang the table. He said, you must bang, not the table, but with your voice. So he trained me that, this proper teachers guiding us, that is what is the job of a teacher, a facilitator. Today, what has happened is there's no transfer of knowledge. There's only transfer of information. What is available in the book, I transfer it to the child. No, a teacher should be beyond that. Book the child is able to read. A teacher should give more than that. As how to, where, if, when. All these things happen to come to me at proper intervals by wonderful teachers of those years. And today I'm able to, I can address a gathering of 3,000, 4,000 students at one point of time. And I don't have any problem doing it. So, this is what is important. This is the role of a teacher. That's why I take pride to be called as a teacher. That's very important.
Excellent, excellent, sir. Thank you so much for sharing that interesting experience that you had with regard to debates. with one of your classmates, and you were in the opposition part, like you had to, fight, or you had to speak against, and
Yes,
there
yeah.
where the power lies, and the thumping of the table and the correction that you received later on. That's really nice. And as you give all the achievements in your life, you give the credit to your teachers. That's
Definitely,
really nice.
definitely.
Yes. And you said, like, it's more of, not more of information, it's more of knowledge that has to be passed.
Yes.
Yes, that's really nice. Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you very much. Now, Dr. Ismail, I'd like to ask you now into your professional zone. You have been there in the professional zone for 50 plus years, and still you are in that beautiful journey of serving students, the faculty members. I mean, one and all, you've been connected with the farmers and everyone. Now, I'd like to ask you, which was that most difficult phase in your professional career where you thought, why am I here? Is this the right place? Did you ever get that feeling that I'm in the wrong place because you faced XYZ reason, some type of a hardship, or maybe the most difficult phase in your professional career?
I indeed faced a lot of such problems. I indeed faced a lot of such problems. That's the reason why I wrote this book, Worming My Way, wherein I have mentioned about the problems I faced and how I overcame them. You see, I joined service. I was working happily. I went, I did my MPhil, I came back. I was guiding a lot of people. Everything was happening wonderfully well. Around 87, I was a bit unhappy with certain things happening in college, and I was looking for whether I should shift to some other institution. And at that time, there was the opening at NCRT. So I had applied and I was selected. I was posted at Bhubaneswar as a reader in zoology at Regional College of Education. At that time, it was Regional College of Education. Now it is Regional Institute of Education. I worked there for 2 years, and I didn't know, like I was working, I joined there. I was taking both first MSc and second MSc classes. And incidentally, my and second BSc, there were BSc students as well. They are still attached to me. Some of them are still in contact with me. Three of the students who came from South India, from Andhra and things, one day they said that we would like to come to your house. And my wife was with me and my daughter was small at that time. And they came home, they said that today, ma'am, you will not cook. We are going to cook because we have not had good food in the hostel, so we would like to eat. And I still remember that was Shankar. At that time they were in love with each other. Indu, they got married and they have two kids now, all settled down. Both of them are staff in Kendriya Vidyalaya. And like Indu, Shankar, we were talking to them. Shankar and Indu, yeah, I was talking to them, and Geeta was helping my wife in the kitchen. And suddenly I could overhear Geeta telling my wife, "Sir will not be here for a long time." And my wife was asking, "Why do you say so? He came here only last year. Why do you say so?" She said, "When Sir came here, we didn't know who he was. Today, every student wants him in the class. So others will not allow him to survive here." So by second year of service, I was getting frustrated. I wanted to leave, but the then deputy director said, "No, we need your services." So he transferred me to Mysore. I went to Mysore for 1 year. There was certain things were worse there as well, so I was not very happy. So after 1990, I came back to my parent department college. I started research in 1991, PhD, this, that, and I was going on. I had several fellowships, travel, papers, research. What I mean to say is when somebody grows, definitely you have to face a lot of thorns. So there was lots of problems happening, and some staff are not happy because every annual day I would have several papers to be the college would recognize, and that caused a sort of an ill will among some people. So there was a lot of problems. They wanted me to remove my lab. They wanted me to move out from there. And luckily for me, my management gave me a separate research institute. And that grew further. And in 10 years, it became internationally known as the Institute for Research in Soil Biology and Biotechnology. Now, everything was going on fine when it was 2001. I should have taken over as principal of the college, but there was some misunderstanding, this and that. So the way it was handled, I was not very happy. And people say that it was my ego, but I thought it as a professional right. I put in my papers for voluntary retirement and I moved out from college. That was 2001. I came back, I established my own research foundation called as the Ecoscience Research Foundation, which again in 10 years became well known. We produced a lot of material for the government of India. We did a lot of work. We are consultants for major companies like TVS and other companies for waste management, wastewater treatment and things like that. And we were working when in 2004, my college again invited me and said, we want to start Department of Biotechnology. Why don't you join us? I said, I'm not interested because of the problem. This is self-financing division. You're not coming in the aided college. You'll be independently establishing. You'll be designing the whole thing. So that became as a challenge. So 2004, I joined them again. I established the Department of Biotechnology. I designed the lab. I saw to its construction, built up the entire system, 10 years. Then 2013, I said, enough is enough. I came out of the system. I was sitting at home. Then I was continuing with my Ecoscience Research Foundation. The next day after this decision, two of my students came home to say that, sir, we would like our department, the same department, which I had established. He had become the head of the department now. So he said, sir, we would like to have a collaboration with your institute. I said, no, I'm closing down my institute. He said, sir, please don't close down, give it to us. We will manage. So I transferred the thing to them. Okay, ho gaya. Now what to do next? I didn't know what to do next. 3 days. And it was a Friday evening. I still remember Friday night. It would be around 40 minutes past 9. When I got a call from the government saying that I'm so-and-so speaking and have heard about the Planning Commission and the Chief Minister has ticked your name. Would you like to be on the panel? That would you like to be on the panel was something wonderful, for recognition of your service for so long. I said, with pleasure, I will do it for the government. So I joined the Planning Commission and now I'm a member of the Planning Commission for the So, my advice to younger generation is don't go mad and chase at something. It's the same example which people have given over the period of time. Don't chase a butterfly. You won't be able to catch it. Just sit, relax. Butterfly will come and sit on your shoulders. So it happened. Just pursue, be honest to your work, be passionate. People can steal your work. People can steal your thoughts, your work, your papers, your materials, but nobody can steal your passion. So work with passion and you will definitely come up with life. Nobody can stop you.
Excellent, excellent, Dr. Ismail. You've shared that so well. And now you opened my eyes as well. Like we all do face a lot of professional hurdles, and how you overcome them is all that matters. And you very gracefully you have overcome all the hurdles on your path. That's very nice. You've given
And
us.
don't take revenge. Don't take revenge. By taking revenge, you are hurting yourself. No revenge, no remarks, nothing. Okay, you don't feel like come, fine, thank you. I'll do something better. And everything it happens something better.
Yes, that's really very nice. With grace and dignity, you faced all of that. And so here's, a good message to all the professionals. You too could face all the hurdles and challenges on your path with grace and dignity. So now you are connected with books as well. You've authored books.
Yeah.
I'd like you to share something about Worming Your Way. What is this all about? If you could just share it and how we could lay our hands on that. Is it available on Amazon? Could people,
Amazon, I think it's available as a book which you can download on your iPad or anything in that thing. But the book is available with Emerald Publishers. It's Emerald Publishers. It's directly they can sell it. This book is something funny, like it's something about my things which happened. And the best thing about this is everywhere you'll get these quotes. So I always tell that allow a person to grow at his or her own pace. How I became Ismail, sir. And the most important quality I learned in life is to be humble. If I did not get something in life, that something was not meant for me. That something was not meant for me. Make use of opportunities, but and always try to learn from people. Don't always tell that. This humility is very important to me. Everybody in the office, whether it is the topmost person or the lowest ranked officer, to me that is only for a professional work, but not at a personal level. At a personal level, everybody is a human being. respect another human being as a human being. That is what is the most important thing which comes over here in this book. Like funny thing is, my funny thing was my professor who taught me a lot of things, like Professor Murthy. Professor Murthy told me that, don't get upset when people try to hurt you, because, like, these Ashoka trees, which grow everywhere, big trees,
Yes.
tall trees, the
All
fencing
trees.
trees, we call them as the avenue trees. Nobody throws any stone at them. People throw stones only at a mango tree or a fruit bearing tree. So if you're bearing fruit in life, be prepared to get some stones here and there. People would love to throw stones at you. So don't worry about it.
Excellent, sir. You've given very good examples, at every given point of time. Earlier, you showed us a flower,
Yeah.
and now you speak about the Ashoka tree and the mango tree, and you related that very well as how we could face our challenges and not be focused on the negatives, be focused on the positives, know your inner self, no matter what people say. And when people hurt you, because as you grow, they will try to pull you down the ladder. But keep going forward. That's really nice. Now, sir, I'd like to go ahead and I'd like to ask you this. How would you want people to remember Dr. Ismail?
Remember me as someone who came in this world, existed, made some mark, and would depart. And one thing is, I always tell stories to parents, because teachers and the parents play a vital role in molding a child. Parents may say that my child does not listen to me and this and that. That's improper. That's improper. But it all depends on how we have brought them up. But basically, what happens is, supposing a father is leading a small child, and they are going on a walk, and there is a narrow plank over a big body of water. So naturally, the father looks at the child and says, "Come on, hold my hand." The child looks at the father and says, "You hold my hand." Father gets very angry. He says, "Hey kid, what do you mean? What does it matter? You hold my hand or I hold your hand? Hold my hand." The child says, "Dad, if I hold your hand and if I slip and fall, I may let it go. But if you hold my hand, even if I slip and fall, you will never let it go." So it is not just holding hands, it is who is holding whose hand is very important in life. Parents have to play a vital role. Second, my most important message to teachers, my fellow teachers, is an elderly person takes a small child to a exhibition. Exhibition is very crowded, very crowded. And suddenly he looks at the child and says, "Look, there's a beautiful green decoration. Have a look at it." It's a small child. It's very crowded. The child says, "No, I'm not able to see." Picks up the child, puts on the shoulders, and says, "Now see." The child says, "That green one is good, but beyond that, there is another red one which is more beautiful." The elder person is not able to see. The child is able to see because it is sitting on the shoulders of the elder person. Every child is sitting on the shoulders of a teacher. My student should know more than me. That should be the aim of every teacher who is molding the students. So unless this system develops and we encourage our children to grow, learn, approach, and in life with the support of the parents and facilitated by the teachers and with all modern technology, I don't believe in artificial intelligence and IoT. It has its own limitations in the course of time. Human intelligence can never be replaced. So, bringing this next generation through that, making them innovative, thoughtful, and caring for others, and bring back the soil with a rich soil to grow good food and grow healthy and be happy in this world.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Ismail, for sharing all of that. That was really very nice. A good message for the parents as well. Now, Doctor, I'd like to bring a very sensitive topic as a question, put it up as a question. Now, you mentioned about parents. You're always focused on the student growing, the parents being a part of the child's life and all of that. But the sad reality of today, most of the children are affected by the family situation, where the parents are at war all of the time,
Yes.
fighting in front of their children. One of the parents might be an alcoholic or under substance abuse, and the innocent children in the family have to suffer all of that, and they suffer from childhood trauma. Once they become adults, they have these flashbacks and they can't face reality. Now, I would like you to give out a message to such students first. If they come out from difficult family backgrounds, how they should face their lives, or if they face maybe a heartbreak, if they have had a friendship with one of their college mates or something, and they have a heartbreak, how do they deal with that sensitive part, either the family issue or a personal relationship which they had, and there is a breakup, as because you've been for 50 years connected with students. So give them that courage, no matter what, they have to come out of it. They cannot be stuck in the victim mode.
And they were perfect, because many children I see come from broken homes or single parents nowadays. They are increasing in number. Because especially after the pandemic, I find there is a slight increase. In fact, some of my friends or psychologists who also tell me that this is becoming a major problem today. Basically, many schools today, what they feel is they must have a counselor, so they appoint a psychologist as a counselor. But to my knowledge, a child loves to share with a teacher on whom the child trusts rather than with a counselor. My personal thing. Many children have confided in me and I have solved the problems. So, a teacher today, I would appreciate, many teachers may not feel it comfortable, but to my knowledge, teacher is the one whom the child trusts a lot. And in every school, to my knowledge, there are teachers who would be ready to be willing to help such children. In fact, what the child requires at that point of time is just a sort of a support to tell that you're not at wrong, you're not at fault. And even if you are at fault, how you can rectify. If you're not at fault, how to react to that situation, how to respond to that situation. Make that child feel comfortable, make that child feel responsible for what the child is. And then mold the child and give the child an inner strength, and not to resort to a sort of an addiction or to go into depression or to go take some sort of extreme steps in life. So give the value of life. Because what was happening in those days was, when we were students, we had some sort of a class called as the moral science and things like that, which later became value-based education. Now, I still remember my teacher asked a question in my class, probably it was class 9 or something. There was a question in that book. How do you show your love for God? Wonderful question. How do you show your love for God? The answer, which has always been in my mind, is you show your love for God by doing your duty. By doing your duty. You do your duty. Be passionate. You are born for a noble cause. You have come in this world to perform something. Each one of us are born with a separate fingerprint. So before going back, leave this fingerprint in this world and say that this is what I came for and I will leave with this. Every child, however poor in marks it might be, has an innovation inside it. Don't compare children with marks. Don't try to humiliate children by saying that you don't study this, you don't study that. Maybe the child is brilliant in something else. The child may not clear. The child, you may say that you are talking, so what did you do with your own child? I gave her all the freedom. She would always come and say, Dad, I failed in this. She failed in her 10th. I don't mind about it. Then she passed, then she did something. So it is not that. Another thing is how the world is taking into consideration today. This is why we are labeling children. We have no business to label children. No teacher has any business, no school has any business to label children. What happened was, in our days, if some child, if I don't concentrate, my teacher would tell, what, are you daydreaming? Are you daydreaming? That was the only word used. Today, that has been classified as ADD, attention deficit disorder, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ASD, autism spectrum disorder, dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, dyspepsia, learning slow learner, learning disabled. Why all this classification of classifying children and labeling children? Is it necessary to label children? A child should be growing holistically. Yes, even if you diagnose there is some sort of a difficulty in the child, there are ways of nurturing the child. There are ways of treating the child. There are ways of making the child also come up in the mainstream and work with the others. Stop labeling children. Parents, stop labeling children first. Don't compare your children between a brother and sister. See, every child is a different genetic makeup. Every child is genetic makeup. There are no similar genetic makeups. Even twins may have slight differences among them. So it is a strong request to parents, teachers, schools, even if you identify the child, handle the child separately, put under care of a good teacher. A counselor can always guide through the teacher because a child is more comfortable with a teacher in whom she trusts. I still remember my teacher who taught me zoology, right? The same way I still remember Mrs. Nancy and Mr. Neves in my school. I don't remember any of the teachers, the way they were teaching sign English poetry, right? Such a beautiful things they used to talk. So it's something which goes into our minds, and teacher-student bond is something more than what parents can do. Sometimes teachers can be able to solve problems which even parents cannot solve with their own children. So that is what is required today. Schools should be equipped. Schools should invest money in training their teachers. Schools should invest money in upgrading their teachers, giving them knowledge, giving them such program. Many schools do it. One thing is this, sometimes call the same person, they come with the same old PowerPoint, they keep putting those PowerPoint, keep reading. I tell that is death by PowerPoint. I call it as death by PowerPoint. They keep reading, and they kill everybody else in the audience. It should be an interactive sessions and make them more involved, and then they can come up. Food pattern is changing. Look at the food pattern, what is happening. What is happening with our food? Children are eating high quality food today, which has no nutrients in it. They are rich in energy. So a child will react very hyper because they are taking so much of sugar. Every food today is processed food, has a lot of sugar and a lot of chemicals in it, which hyperactivate the child. So somewhere we are missing the bus. And it's the right time and that we are doing these programs through Fabtalks where people can listen to it. There can be an effective change, and there could be some families who would listen to us, would bring a change, and hopefully that they would have lovely children, and their children would look at us sometime and say, "Thanks for doing this show. My parents did very well with me."
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for sharing all of that. Thank you so much for giving all the inputs in the right way with a lot of clarity with regard to teachers, with regard to parents, how to concentrate and bring up their children and the students as well.
Take them to extracurricular activities. There is no extracurricular activity. People think tuition. How much of tuition will a child take in? How much of things can go into this brain? Are we pressurizing them? What is the guarantee that the child would survive and do all the money you have spent on the tuitions and enter into things? See, there's a limitation for everything. You should try to understand the limitation of the child and make the child feel comfortable, happy, and mold the child in that way. That's the best way.
Yes, Dr. Ismail, there's one more big question that I have for you before we sum up the session. Now, there are highly educated students. They have, completed their masters. They are even, they're pursuing their PhD, etc. Now, they are still not able to get employed or the right kind of employment, and this is leading to depression. In spite of being highly qualified, they are unable to bag the right job. So if you could give them a message to have patience, or what kind of a message you'd love to give all of those who are still searching for a wonderful opportunity to work and share their knowledge and expertise.
All younger children, you're all like my children. Yeah, you just listen to me that when I completed my masters, I even applied for a clerk's post, this post, that post, because when I submit my CV or a profile for a job, and in present occupation, if I put nil, it is a negative qualification. If I already have a job, take whatever job comes your way. You are going to do something better than that. So please don't insist that I have done my PhD. I have also done my PhD. I have published papers. So many students have done. That doesn't mean that this I have done for my own knowledge. It is not for a job. Job is also related to that. I do agree to it. Should I come down to a lower level? There is no level at all in service. Every job is a job. If you do it very well, you can shine it up. So I started my career as a demonstrator with 400 rupees salary. And when my teacher said that you will not pass school today, I'm writing the state's education policy. So it is all irrelevant to in context. Marks are required only for admission to higher education. After you complete your education, nobody asks your marks. You want to know my marks? I'm only a second-class graduate and a second-class postgraduate. Your marks don't help you once you establish in life, like your work, your research, your papers. You should be known through your work. If you ask many people who is Sultan Ismail, they will not know. You ask them who is that fellow who works with the earthworm, they know that somebody Ismail is working with the earthworm. Come to be known through your work, not you. Your work should not be known through you. You should be known through your work. So try to give, try to understand, try to accept whatever job comes in immediately. Take it as a sort of a staircase. The problem, children, I'll tell you one small thing for you people is when you start climbing a fleet of steps, the problem is look at the first step and then the second step. Unfortunately, many people tell you to look at the top step. You look at the top step, you will miss some step in the between and you will fall down. You will fall down. Look at step by step, step by step. Don't look at Ismail today in 2024. Look at Ismail 1974, taking a bicycle, trying for a job, trying for a job. Okay, go and do this job. I was given the maximum load at that point of time. I did it. I did it. I did not complain. Right? Now, for example, there was an examination coming and nobody had done the practical for those children. I was asked to take care of them. And I used to take a bus and because by the time we had shifted, the last bus was at 10:30 and the experiment was over at 10:25 and I had to borrow my student cycle and another bicycle. Two of my students were coming. As I was approaching, the government bus was coming towards there. Happened to know that conductor because I was a regular traveler. I shouted, "Hey, I'm coming, man." He said, "Okay, you come." He waited for me. He picked me up. He brought me home next day. The practicals I taught them the previous night came for the students. They still call me and thank me. You see, keep doing. Things come to you. If you're going to look at some benefit and then do it, you will never get it. You will never get it. Yes, because remember certain things. Two main definitions between love and attachment. Love is what you give unconditionally. Attachment is, I am giving love to you. You also love me equally. Expectation. If expectation is there, there is attachment. Otherwise, it's only love. Love your profession. Second, understand the difference between want and need. What do you need? I need air. Yes. I need air. I need water. Yes. I need food to survive. Agreed? Yes. Need is food. What type of food I want is want. I want a burger. I want a pizza. I want a biryani. That is want. Food is a need. Clothing is a need. Which brand is a want? So remove the wants from there, retain the needs, and have love in life. You progress.
Thank you, Dr. Ismail. Thank you so much. You really enlightened us in the right way with the right kind of thoughts, and the wisdom that you shared today is really immense. And I wouldn't want to let you go, but I respect your time. I'm sure you will share your time once again with us on the International Fabtalks. There are several questions still that I have to ask you. But nevertheless, I am really very happy with the way you connected with the students and with parents and with faculty members and the challenges that you had, the early childhood that you shared with us with regard to your grandfather, father, and your aunt, right up to now being one of the main members in the planning commission with regard to education. That's really wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ismail. Thank you very much. We look forward to the next session with you very soon.
Thank you, Andrea, and have a wonderful evening, and thanks very much. Thanks to all the people who have been listening to us. Enjoy your life, live your life. Some people are alive, some live. So better live than just being alive.
You could all learn from this. Do us a favor, dear friends, share this wonderful video with the right kind of people, and they will definitely benefit from it. They would even transform their lives in the right way. It could be a student, it could be a parent, it could be a teacher, it could be a lecturer, one and all. And if you think we are doing the good job here on the International Fabtalks, connecting with wonderful celebrities like Dr. Ismail and the experience and wisdom that they have, which they share with us, do comment, subscribe, like, and share our videos. And don't forget to smile and stay safe. Love yourself. As Sir said, focus on the needs and, do not focus on wants more, and be a giver to the world. So if you want to serve God, do your duty. That's what Sir gave a wonderful message. We promise to bring back Ismail Sir once again on this platform. Till then, it's a goodbye from the International Fabtalks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Ellie?